Welcome to My Ninja Turtles channel. This is the Ninja Turtles Show, weekly live stream every Turtle Tuesday, covering Ninja Turtles news, toys, cartoons, movies, comics, video games, whatever the show we want. And today's show is no different. Today, we're talking about the TMNT 2012 show. 10-year anniversary, can you believe it? We're also going to be talking about the Cowabunga collection. Comes out in a week. Great collection of classic Ninja Turtles games. 13 games. We're also going to be talking about a little bit of Ninja Turtles history, about the first comic way back in 1984. And we're going to cover an interview with Barry Gordon, the original Donatello from the 1987 series. And also, we're going to celebrate the first birthday of my channel. First birthday of My Ninja Turtles channel. Can you believe it? It's already been a year. It's going to be a great show. Before we get started, just wanted to let you know, check out the video from last Saturday about the TMNT 2012 show, and I have a video coming out this Saturday about Ethan Ralph, an online internet streamer. Also, follow me at rumble.com/My Ninja Turtles channel for some more content, exclusive videos. And of course, if you'd like to support the channel, share the videos, post them to your social media. Like the video, subscribe, turn on notifications, and most importantly, leave a chat, leave a comment. It's time to get started. Happy Turtle Tuesday, everybody. How are you doing? Let me check out the chat, see how everyone's doing here. Who do we have today? We've got Pickle, we've got Peaches, TMNT Tammy's, Mr. Turtle, Tyron, Quentin. How's it going, everybody? Should be a great show. Oh, let me get your chats on screen here. How's it going, everybody? Okay, well, the 2012 fans are celebrating right now. It's been 10 years. Great show. And I had a video that came out over the weekend to celebrate the show. It's been 10 years and it's really cool. It's really exciting that it's had a decade since it came out and a lot to talk about. Did you guys see the video? T in the chat if you saw the video already. Just posted it last Saturday. Pretty good video. A lot of cool things about the 2012 show. A lot of great things. I thought the character designs were great. Yeah, the first season's on Netflix. Thought it was a really, really cool show. The CG animation was wonderful. I think it's aged well. And yeah, I wish more than the first season was on Netflix. I remember when it first came out that some people were... I read that some people were upset about how the turtles looked a little bit different from each other. Instead of all looking the same, they had a different design. Donnie was a little bit taller. Raph had a little bit broader shoulders. And, some people were upset it was the 3D CGI animation. And some people were even upset that Donnie had a gap in between his front teeth. So these changes seem so tame compared to the changes that Rise of the TMNT made. Like in Rise of the TMNT, Raph is huge and they have these mystic powers, and all their changes seem a little bit tame compared to the more modern shows. But it was a great show, and it doesn't seem different at all compared to Rise of the TMNT. And I thought Tiger Claw was a great character. I thought he was a great new introduction. He was a new character on this show. I thought he was tough. He had the sword and the jetpack. He was a ferocious character. Super Shredder, of course, I said was my favorite episode of the show. Super Shredder. I went out on a limb and I said that Super Shredder was the best episode of the series. Anybody agree, disagree? What was your favorite episode of the show? I saw some people left some chats that Owari was their favorite episode, Invasion, Showdown. A lot of great episodes. Great 5 seasons, over 120 episodes. And I had some cool comments on the video as well I wanted to share. People were leaving a lot of nice comments. Some people liked the story, they liked the character development. Star Knight said they liked the music, and just about everything about it is amazing. Cartoon Fangirl said, I'm happy the show is still getting some love even after all these years. Laura said, "The Turtles are the most well-developed versions of themselves. They feel like real complex personalities." We've got a comment from Savsmaster. They said, "This is the Turtle show I grew up with. Very awesome." Turtle Shock said, "I love how the show respected the versions of all TMNT properties." It's a really cool show, so got a lot of great comments about that, not surprising at all, and I still feel Super Shredder is the best episode, and I really like what they did with April in this show. She had a lot of progression over the 5 seasons, and she started off as the typical damsel in distress, just like the 1987 show. She's just a girl compared to these big, strong, mutant, grown-up men, and she went through a big progression through the show. She turned from just a girl to a tough ninja, a kunoichi, and she really went on a journey, and she held her own, and it felt earned. It felt like she really progressed, and it wasn't just like a tacky kind of thing where she just shows up and she knows kung fu or something. And I really liked the dark outfit that April wore later in Season 4 and Season 5. I even did a custom figure with that design. I made a video for that too. So go check out the custom April video I did. Just wanted to celebrate the 2012 show. Splinter was taller than the Turtles. That was a big change. Splinter's usually depicted as shorter than the Turtles. And the Trans-Dimensional Turtles show, how cool was that? That they brought back the original voice actors from the 1987 series, and they showed the 3D characters in 2D. They showed the 2D characters in 3D as well at one point. I thought this was a really funny show. Really funny episode. So, just wanted to do a little celebration of the 2012 show while we're all together and recap the video I put out last Saturday. Go check it out if you haven't seen it. It's a great show, and just wanted to commemorate the great show and celebrate it a little bit. And I loved when they wore the black bandanas later in Season 4. Some people said that was one of their favorite episodes, the final episode of Season 4. Tyrone says, the 2003 April, 2007 movie and Archie April got into being a kunoichi. Yes, they did. I like when April becomes a ninja as well, instead of just a damsel in distress. I like when she trains with the Turtles and progresses. How did you guys feel about the Mutant Apocalypse arc? Did you feel this was the real ending of the series like I did? I felt the Mutant Apocalypse arc was the real end of the series, not the Bebop and Rocksteady arc. This is what the creators meant for the real end of the series. This was the episodes in production that they had in mind. This is the ending they had in mind during production, these episodes. And Raph looked cool with a beard. I liked all the Mad Max references. And of course, I loved the tribute at the end for Kevin and Peter. Big tribute to Kevin Eastman and Peter Laird at the end of the Mutant Apocalypse episodes. So I just wanted to celebrate this show with you guys a little bit. Very stylish show, very well done. So that was last week's video. T's in the chat for TMNT 2012. Let's type a T in the chat for TMNT 2012. It's not the official 10-year anniversary yet. That's coming up in September, but I wanted to get this video out a little bit early and make sure we had a full month to celebrate it before the moment passes. Before the anniversary passes. I didn't want to put it out after the fact. So let's type some T's in the chat for the 2012 show. Good stuff. And the next thing I wanted to get to. That was last Saturday's video. And this Saturday's video is coming up. It's another video in the controversial Ninja Turtles video series. And it is about a live streamer named Ethan Ralph. He's on a free speech platform, and he mentioned the Ninja Turtles a while back, and I was given a clip of this, and I made a video about it. This is a clip actually that got cut from the video, so this is something that's not even going to be in the video this Saturday. He gets a message that someone looks like Master Splinter, and he makes a couple Master Splinter jokes.
Judas looks like Master Splinter with that beard, or maybe J. Edward Snowden.
He's more of a rat than Master Splinter even. Here we go.
Anonymous sent $3. He can't
Master
even help
Splinter
it.
was loyal.
No IQ.
So this is another video in the random live streamer kind of controversial territory, and should be pretty cool. A lot of random Ninja Turtle fans out there, so if you guys know of anybody else that mentions the Ninja Turtles, pass it along my way and I'll make a video about them too. anybody in the public eye. So let's get started. I saw this mask on eBay, one of the original prop masks for Leonardo from the 1990 movie, 15 grand. And it says it's screen used, and it definitely looks old. So I'm not sure if this mask is actually worn in the movie, if it's one of the stunt heads. It says screen used and production made. I don't know what the details are with this kind of thing. It comes with a certificate of authenticity, so it seems pretty legit. Definitely out of my price range, but I just wanted to share it. I thought it was so neat. It's weird how these things deteriorate and they look just terrible after 30 years or whatever. But it's such a piece of cool history, such a piece of Ninja Turtles history, I wanted to share it. And it's almost fitting that it's deteriorated at this point. It's almost poetic in a certain sense that it's deteriorating. It's been 30 years. It's been a long time since the movies came out. And that's what happens to these things. They deteriorate. They fall apart over time. But they're a piece of history. And I think it's been slightly preserved at one point. They did some sort of restoration. But it looks good. Probably don't want to wear it. It's probably dangerous to wear. But it seems pretty cool. So this is something I just wanted to share with you. This is one of those things where it's one of the creepy-faced Leonardos or creepy-faced masks where they start deteriorating and they look like a zombie. Looks almost as creepy as Turtles 3, Leonardo says Mr. Turtle. Wish we saw the live-action 1990 TMNT bandana unmasked. Yeah, I didn't know the masks were built in to the mask. It looks like it's all just molded out of one piece of foam. I didn't know if they actually were wearing bandanas or how that worked, but looks like it's all just molded together. They would have been neat to see without the mask. I like when the turtles are shown without their masks as well. So this is a piece of history. Ninja Turtles movie history. And another piece of Ninja Turtles history from the comic books is going to be coming to us from TMNT-NinjaTurtles.com. Are you familiar with this website? It's been around for a long time. It's run by a guy named Rich, and he's a huge Ninja Turtles fan. He's got the most complete professionally cataloged collection of Ninja Turtles comics and memorabilia. So this is a website you can go to search through Ninja Turtles comics over the ages. He has a lot of history cataloged here, figures, comics, books, memorabilia, all sorts of stuff, all sorts of figures and toys. And this is a great website, and one of the most interesting things he has on here recently is the production negatives that were used to make the first Ninja Turtles comic way back in 1984. So these production negatives were used in the actual printing and the actual process of printing all the thousands of copies of the first and second printing of the first comic. So this is really interesting stuff here. I don't know how exactly he got a hold of these, but you know how the comic was originally printed in black and white? When they print the comic, they actually use a negative, just like camera film, like old camera film. So this is interesting. The negatives were used, where they're black, they're white, and where they're white, they're black. And it seems like he somehow got a hold of the actual production negatives. So these were actually used to produce the original comics. So these are a real piece of history. These are a real piece of Ninja Turtles history. And he found these somewhere, or he acquired them. He's a great collector, and he went through a whole history of how they were used, how he verified which printings they were used for, first or second printing. And he goes through the whole process of how comics used to be printed in the old-fashioned, using negatives by hand and printing black and white in the 80s. And it's really technical. It's a lot of stuff about folding 4 pages and the signature size and this and that. And I read a little bit of it. I didn't understand any of it. I don't know how this stuff works. Goldenrod flats, printing plates, plate positioning. I didn't get it. I don't understand how a negative works. It's the inverse colors or something. It's black and white. But it's really fascinating to read about this and read about how the comic books came about. And the fact that he got a hold of the actual negatives that were used to actually print all of the thousands of copies of the first and second printing, this is a really cool piece of history. So he even shows some of the differences between that negative in the lower left-hand corner and the first and second printing, the third printing. He shows all the differences between each type of printing and how it looks different, how you can compare them. And it's a really fascinating documentary almost. He's written a bunch of articles on his website, TMNT-NinjaTurtles.com, about these production negatives. And he goes into great detail about each different version of the Ninja Turtles comics, how you can tell them apart, how you can tell first printing from second printing, how you can tell the second from third printing, even counterfeits. He goes into great detail about these crazy details. So it's really great to see this piece of history. And also, here's Kevin Eastman signing the negatives. So they had never even been publicly displayed before. Here's Kevin Eastman, co-creator of the Ninja Turtles, of course. And he signed the negatives, and they've never been seen in public before, but if you want to see them in public, they are going to be displayed for the first time ever to the public at the Granite Con Comic-Con in New Hampshire, September 16th through 18th. So TMNT-NinjaTurtles.com, Rich, big Ninja Turtles fan, he's going to be displaying these negatives for the first time. They were used, like I said, for the first and second printings of the first ever Ninja Turtles comic book. So this is a real piece of history, and it's going to be on display for the first time, how the comics were created and all the information he gathered once he acquired these negatives. And if that's not enough, if you don't want to check out Granite Con for that, there's also a little TMNT sewer lair display where you can pose with Master Splinter in a like a replica of the 1987 sewer lair. In there, you can sit on their couch, watch their little TV, and there's going to be a bunch of Ninja Turtles people at this Granite Con as well in New Hampshire. Ben Bishop, Freddie Williams, Jim Lawson, Steve Levine, Judith Hoag, the original April O'Neil from the 1990 movie, and of course Kevin Eastman, co-creator of the Turtles, is going to be there as well. So a lot of cool stuff. Negatives from the 80s. That's a piece of history. How old? It's like 40 years old. A lot of cool Ninja Turtles history. And speaking of cool Ninja Turtles history, the Cowabunga collection is coming out in a week. It's going to be a collection of 13 classic Ninja Turtles video games from the 90s. Pretty much all the classic Ninja Turtles video games from the 90s. Ninja Turtles 2, the arcade game. The Manhattan Project. Radical Rescue on Game Boy. Fall of the Foot Clan on Game Boy. And there's going to be a bunch of new features as well. You'll be able to save, you'll be able to rewind. And the coolest thing about this game is that it comes with a bunch of behind-the-scenes information, a bunch of behind-the-scenes artwork, and a bunch of behind-the-scenes content about how these games were created. It's like each game comes with full maps and strategy guides and artwork about how it was designed. And it comes out August 30th, 2022, just a week away. Coming out next Turtle Tuesday. So I think the coolest thing about the Cowabunga collection might be the old games, it might be the classic games, but I think the artwork and the behind-the-scenes information is really going to be the icing on the cake. The behind-the-scenes information is really going to be what puts this over the edge as a cool collection. This is going to be a collection that kind of sets the tone for other collections, I think. Anybody can make a copy of the games and update them and add some new features, but to get all the behind-the-scenes stuff is really where this one is going to shine, I think. They're going to have a bunch of information about the production of the game, from the graphics to the design, the music, and they're going to include strategy guides and maps to each of the games as well. Hyperstone Heist, Turtles in Time, all the games for Sega, Nintendo, Super Nintendo, and Game Boy, and even some arcade games as well. And if you've played Shredder's Revenge, you're going to see a lot of stuff in here you might recognize. You're going to see where a lot of the references in Shredder's Revenge come from. And it's going to be really fascinating to see and really fascinating to play. I know I'm excited for it. It's coming out for PlayStation, Xbox, PC. It's going to be out on Steam. So this is going to be a great look through the past and a great collection of vintage Ninja Turtle video games. And even games from the Game Boy. You can see here these low-res graphics, black and white, Bebop and Rocksteady from the 90s. This is going to be a great collection, great piece of history as well. So, like I said, the artwork might be the coolest part of this game, this collection. It's It's going to include a lot of behind-the-scenes information, and it's not even in English. I think these games were developed in Japan, and lots of the stuff was created in Japan. You're going to see early drawings of the Super Shredder, and all sorts of stuff that was used in the production of this video game. These video games from Konami. So I'm really excited for that. And just a week away, we're in the home stretch. I think I might be streaming this in a week. We'll see. Maybe we'll have a little vote about which game we should stream first or something. But the production artwork looks awesome. The production artwork looks amazing. It's great to see the stuff from the video games before it was just an idea. It was before it was even in the video game. So that's one of the things I'm excited about. In addition to playing all the games, checking out all the old music and all that stuff, I just want to see some of this artwork and behind-the-scenes information. Looks like Peaches is a big fan of Super Shredder. Me too. So that's a piece of Ninja Turtles history. And another little piece of history. My Ninja Turtles channel is 1 year old. It's my 1 year birthday for my Ninja Turtles channel. Decided about a year ago I wanted to create a Ninja Turtles channel. My family and friends didn't want to hear me talk about the Ninja Turtles anymore, so I decided I would create a Ninja Turtles channel. I didn't know what to call it. And I thought to myself, what should I call my Ninja Turtles channel? What should I call my Ninja Turtles? And I thought that's a good idea. I'll just call it my Ninja Turtles channel. I don't even need to come up with a name. I thought I was Larry David for a moment. I thought I was Seinfeld coming up with some sort of quirky, stupid name. And eventually I got 1 subscriber. It took a long time, longer than I thought. And then it took 10. And I got 10 subscribers. It took a long time. It took 10 weeks or something. And eventually I got 100 subscribers. And who really cares about how many subscribers I have? But, made a lot of fun memories over the past year and learned a lot as well. So, I didn't know what I was doing as far as editing videos. I started with just doing uploads. I don't know what I'm doing editing or putting together a video or a voiceover or anything. I kind of just winged it. And I wanted to share some of my thumbnails over the past year, and I'll just chat about my thoughts about that. Didn't know what I was doing, and takes a lot of work to make an uploaded video. If you're making it about a comic, you have to scan in the comics, and you have to arrange the slides in a certain way, and you have to screen record if you're doing video clips, clipping shows and editing stuff together, writing a script, recording a script, editing it down, putting everything together. It's a lot of work. Takes a lot of time. Sometimes I'll spend a bunch of hours and you end up with like a 2-minute video or something. It's very challenging, and done about 100 videos so far. It was tough to come up with 100. If you're a big Turtles fan, come up with 100 titles. Come up with 100 different headlines that you could use as a YouTube video. It's really challenging, even for a big Ninja Turtles fan, to come up with 100 different unique, attention-grabbing ideas. So you could just do the same kind of thing, like a history for every kind of character. You could do the history of Mutagen Man, the history of Baxter Stockman, the history of Bebop and Rocksteady. But it gets annoying after a while. It's boring. It doesn't, it's not as fulfilling. It feels just robotic. It feels formulaic. So I do all my videos probably foolishly and original ideas. I don't really have any templates I can use. And it takes a lot of time, and I could probably just crank out history videos or do like ranking videos, tier videos, or just do news, clickbait kind of style, breaking news videos, or just go through and review every episode or review every comic, but it's a little bit tough for me to do that. I have a short attention span. I like the variety. It just feels like a chore when I'm not doing different kind of stuff. And also there's people doing those kind of videos way better than me. Way better than me. So there's a bunch of great Ninja Turtles channels out there that are doing that kind of stuff way better than I can do it. And their videos, they're edited better, they've got better production, so I needed to cut my own path and do more unique content and random kind of Ninja Turtle stuff and provide some commentary. And like my Casey Jones is the original Kyle Rittenhouse video. I don't think anyone else would have ever made that video, so I want to do unique stuff, and I want to make fun videos and crazy videos. And recently started doing the live streaming as well. I think this is my 10th or 15th live stream, still learning at it, still very tough. There's a lot of stuff. to learn. I don't know how to talk off the cuff. I don't know how to put together my notes. I don't know how to use the broadcasting software. I don't know how to talk. I think you guys learned in my uploaded scripted videos I can't read. So then I do a live stream, you learn I can't talk off the cuff. It's pretty tough. It's like riding a bike and falling off in public, but can't live stream unless you're in public. So it's one of those things where you have to do it publicly to learn. You can't do it. You can't practice on your own live streaming alone. You need to do it live. So it's a lot of fun, but it's a lot of work as well. And like I said, I don't have ads on my channel. I don't have any sponsors. I don't have any connections. I don't get advanced copies. I don't have any interviews or VIP corporate contacts. I don't have any relationships. I'm just like you. I'm just a Ninja Turtle fan. It's just us fans together. We're all here together. So when I say I dislike something, you guys know I mean it. And when I say I like something, you know that I mean it. There's no kind of hidden agenda. It's just me rambling about Ninja Turtles, for better or for worse. So that's it. That's the 1 year birthday, 1 year anniversary of my Ninja Turtles channel. I've learned a lot. I've done a bunch of bad videos. Let's be honest. I've done a bunch of bad live streams. Very tough to talk off the cuff, but done a bunch of fun videos too. Like this thumbnail that just came on the screen. Best Ninja Turtles podcasts. I thought that was a cool video to do. Collect all my favorite Ninja Turtles podcasts and pass them along to you guys. So if you're looking for Ninja Turtles podcasts, maybe you can pick one up. This one as well, street art and murals, Ninja Turtles graffiti. I collected all the Ninja Turtles street artwork and graffiti and murals that you see out and about online and wanted to collect that. Did a voiceover, did like a stop motion comic thing for the Leonardo chapter from Challenges by Michael Dooney. And the best Ninja Turtles YouTube channels. I've been around for a year and I even landed on a list of the best Ninja Turtles YouTube channels. It was a list I made, of course. I made my own list, but nevertheless, 1 year I'm on the best Ninja Turtles YouTube channel list. And this video was crazy, silly of course. April O'Neil had sex with a cockroach. That was a silly one. Trying to be controversial, trying to be crazy. This is the custom April O'Neil 2012 figure I mentioned earlier. Our Bebop and Rocksteady gay. So it's been a fun year, and I'm looking forward to next year. And I wanted to say thanks everybody for joining me. And we have one final story before we wrap up. Oh, let me check out some of these comments here. Thanks for these comments, you guys. Thanks for the nice little anniversary birthday wishes and all that. Appreciate it. Happy to have you guys. And so the final story of the evening, of the Ninja Turtle show this evening, is about Barry Gordon. If you're not familiar with Barry Gordon was the original voice of Donatello in the 1987 series. He was the first voice actor to play Donatello. In the highly successful cartoon that came out in 1987, he was the voice of Donatello. And I listened to a podcast with him. I listened to an interview. And, of course, there's really nothing new coming out about the 1987 show at this point. It's been out for 40 years. They've done tons of interviews. These guys were rock stars in the 90s. So there's not much new information, and he dropped a little gem in a recent interview about something that happened in 2011, actually. So he mentioned that the show ended in 96, and the guys all kind of went their separate ways. And he mentioned that in 2011, that he was contacted by Rob Paulsen, of course, who played Raphael in the 1987 show. And Rob Paulsen wanted to get the crew back together. Barry Gordon, Rob Paulsen, Cam Clark, Townsend Coleman, he wanted to get the crew back together and do the Comic-Con circuit and get the guys together and do Comic-Con appearances and do signings and stuff like that. And the guys hadn't really seen each other in 15 years. They kind of had gone their separate ways. And it's really cool that they all got back together. And it was really nice of Barry Gordon to point out that Rob Paulsen was the one who reached out and got the crew back together. And they could have gone their separate ways. You hear a lot of times people, they complete a show and they don't really stay in touch, the cast and crew, they move on to new things. So it was a nice moment for Barry Gordon to point out. It was something that happened in 2011. It's something that happened 10 years ago, but he took the time in an interview to point out that it was a nice memory. And I thought it was really sweet. And it's crazy that these guys are in their 60s and 70s, and it could have gone the other way. They could have not stayed in touch. They could have gone separate directions. But they're the 4 turtles. They're the original 4 voice actors for the turtles. And look at how happy they are together. They're in their 60s, their 70s. I think some of them are probably grandpas. They look like a bunch of grandpas hanging out together. They're senior citizens. And but they get together and they're happy, and they look like teenagers. They look like the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. You can see it on their faces. They look like young teenagers. And they've been through a lot together. Like I said, they were superstars in the 90s. These guys were rock stars. They've been through a lot. And I thought this was just a cool moment. It could have gone the other way. They didn't necessarily have to get back together. They didn't necessarily have to be friends, but they really are friends, and they're just hanging out. The show ended 30 years ago or something, and look at, they're still hanging out, a bunch of grandpas. So I thought that was a sweet moment I wanted to pass along. So hats off to the 1987 guys. Hats off to them. 4 great actors doing wonderful stuff for the 1987 show. Just wanted to end on a little happy note there. So that's pretty cool. Wanted to thank you guys again for my 1-year anniversary and all the kind comments. And of course, I appreciate you guys. And we have a video coming out this Saturday about Ethan Ralph, so check that out. And if I don't see you on Saturday, I will see you next Tuesday for the next edition of the Ninja Turtles show. Take care. Bye-bye. Have a great week. Thanks for watching. Feel free to leave a comment and share this video. Make sure to give the video a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel for more Ninja Turtles videos like this.